Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to the new story of r/relationship advice. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for new future videos. Let's get started. Cheers.
Stories in today's video. 1. My cheating wife had been illegally using my bank card to withdraw money too. I caught my boyfriend sleeping with 2 women. I had my suspicions confirmed after our relationship had ended. She ended it. We got together in September 2012, about 3 months after I had gotten out of a previous relationship in which I had been cheated on and ended, in relatively friendly terms despite what had happened, but I digress. We had S**x quite often from September to March. I don't claim to be a S**x god, but I've always told my partners that if I'm doing something wrong or they want me to do something different to what I'm doing, then please tell me. I'd rather know and try to fix it than have S**x only enjoyable for myself. I had an inkling that she wasn't enjoying S**x with me anymore. We stopped having S**x for the rest of our relationship, which ended a week before Christmas that year. All she ever wanted to do was to provide me with oral S**x, but she didn't want me to reciprocate or initiate anything further. This lasted for about 2 weeks when I confronted her with, "Please tell me if I'm doing something wrong. I can only perform how I know how to and what's worked before. Every person is different, so please tell me." But she insisted she just wasn't in the mood, which is fine. I'd never pressure anyone into S**x or not take no as an answer, so I left it. Over the next few months, I tried my best to wine-dine her, thinking it might spark something, but it never did. One weekend in mid-August she told me she was going to have drinks with an old childhood friend, who, coincidentally lived about a 3 to 4 minute walk from my house at the time. I didn't think nothing of it at the time. She didn't text me until the next day in the afternoon. She said she got drunk and couldn't manage typing on her phone, so she just went straight to sleep. Again, I thought nothing of it as it seemed plausible. As we approached October, we seemed to be getting along better. We went to the Harry Potter tour in London and had a great time. We went back to our hotel drunk on nostalgia and we started doing some Hogwarts student role-playing. I was like, yes, finally, the streak is over, but alas, it didn't go any further. Now here's when our relationship went to utter sh*t. The weekend after we went to the Harry Potter tour, she texts me saying she feels like we're just going through the motions and just feels trapped being in a relationship and wanted to break up. I plead for a while but ultimately agreed and tried to move on. But then 3 days later, she rang me saying she had made a mistake and was just confused as to how she felt about me as I was her first, long-term boyfriend. I felt flattered by this, like a twat-womble that I was, and decided to give it another go. I, in my naivety and S**shul frustration-addled mind, thought the next time we saw each other that we'd surely have makeup S**x, right? That's normal, isn't it? No, not this time either. I decided to take a leaf from her book and become distant and offhandish, which again, was just a symbol of how poorly communicated our relationship was. Despite the fact she lived 10 minutes away from me, we saw each other 10 times in 2 months, and in the end she ended it by saying, "The feeling of being trapped is back again and this time it isn't going to change." At this point I was relieved, as I wanted to end it sooner, but didn't know how to, as I'd never been the dumper before. She promptly deleted me as a friend on Facebook and blocked me and all my friends and family members, which, again, I found to be reasonable after a breakup. This is how I found out she had been cheating. I had a business page on Facebook for my web design startup company I was trying to get going. She was still a member of that page. About 3 days after we broke up, I went onto the page to add some updates about adding new clients to my service, and in the news feed, my ex had just entered into a relationship with that old childhood friend she had drinks with back in August. I was dumbfounded. Also quite offended that she couldn't tell me the truth earlier in the relationship instead of just stringing me along, but it gets worse. I decided to be an *SS and message her new bit. I started off by telling him who I was and that he's SC*M2 by being complicit in the affair, knowing full well that she had a boyfriend. The plot thickens. He didn't know about me and told me they had been seeing each other since the end of July on a FWB basis and she tried to get with him permanently, but he said no. When did she try? In October, when we had a break. So she realized she couldn't be with him and settled for me. Eventually she wore this person down, we'll call him Alex, and they entered into a relationship together. Hence us breaking up a week before Christmas. I sent him every single conversation me and my ex had during the time he claimed they were an item. That clearly showed that she was in a relationship with me. I told him when she starts withholding s*x, it's her being bored and the honeymoon period ending, so be careful. They broke up about a year later after he found out she had been soliciting herself for men to help pay her phone bill, over the internet too. It also transpired that she had been illegally using my bank card to withdraw money, transfer it into her account, in order to pay bills. I only found this out as my bank rang me 2 days before Christmas saying suspicious activity has been tracked over the last fortnight and now there's no activity at all. I had lost my bank card whilst Christmas shopping. She had obtained my PIN number one day as I asked her to pay for our meal with my card as I went to the toilet at a restaurant. She had racked up about £750 in total. I had the option to press charges, but I just wanted it to be an expensive lesson and not being naive and almost desperate to be with someone. Plus, once my web designing business started turning profits I could live on, I didn't need the money anyway. I last heard that she now lives in Scotland as she was kicked out of her father's house due to drug use and not sticking to rehab. Rehab. I apologize for the length of this story. TLDR, after breaking up with cheating ex, who claims to have no longer be in love with me or find me surely attractive, why would he get back together with me and not just end the relationship? As briefly described in the title, I am very confused. I don't want people asking me if I've gained weight because that's not it. I've been the same, no changes. I feel arrogant saying this, but I'm thrown off by him saying he no longer found me surely desirable. The relationship was great the first 3 months. Despite that, he talked about his ex, who has the same exact name as me, a lot. At first, I didn't think anything of it because I'm not the jealous type. He also told me that their 2-year relationship ended terribly and he no longer speaks with her. Then I noticed he brought her up a lot and a lot of other ex-GFs, so I told him it makes me uncomfortable that he talks about his ex-GFs a lot. He acknowledged this and the talk of exes reduced. Not too long after 3 months, he became very distant and communicated less. When I communicated him about not feeling prioritized, he blamed it on his busy postdoc schedule, and the way he showed he cared for me was by squeezing me into his schedule. I accepted this, because I wanted him to succeed at work and figured I would want the same if I were in his situation and thought I was being understanding of his needs. The communication and prioritization continued to get worse. We started having less s*x, but I honestly thought it was because he's exhausted and tired from work. Why did I stay with him? Because when we were together, it felt great. He seemed to be a good communicator, he seemed to have a higher EQ than most guys I've dated, and we were able to do some fun activities together. So 2 months later, I ended up breaking up with him over text. It took him a while to message me back, but he wrote a nice message that he understands and is okay with it. I told him I wanted to pick up a book I left and he asked if I could do it next weekend. I thought it was weird because he could just leave it with the front desk people, but didn't question it. Then I felt bad for ending the relationship the way I did, over text, and asked if we could meet for closure. He said yes and wanted that himself. Instead of meeting where we originally planned, I had to go closer to his place because he lost his stuff and couldn't easily travel to me. I later found out that he went on an island holiday with friends and his stuff got stolen. I thought that was really weird because he never mentioned that to me, but he's a spontaneous guy, so I thought maybe it was a last-minute thing that he decided to do after I broke up with him. We spent 3 hours together talking about how the relationship didn't work. In the end, I thought, oh, now that I know where he's coming from. He continued to say he's very busy and got scared because he was getting lots of grant rejections. This could possibly work. I communicated with him that I'm willing to try the relationship again. We were only broken up for about a week, as long as we're both able to set up expectations of each other's needs, etc. He was on board. Fast forward another 1 to 2 months later, his behavior really didn't improve a whole lot. I was checking out and getting frustrated again when I suddenly had an emergency operation. I told him and he started showing me lots of concerns. That's nice, I thought. When I got myself to the hospital, he showed up and was present with me the whole time. I didn't even ask him to come, so I really thought, yes. Finally, some positive change. After my recovery, we planned on watching the game together. He invited his poker friends and wanted to invite one of my friends. I showed up to his place before going to the game and ended up finding used condoms in his trash can. I confronted him about it because we don't use protection, and he immediately lied saying, I don't use that trash can. I wasn't having it and yelled at him. After catching lying several more times and seeing him sit in silence in a thinking pose for 10 minutes, he told me that he was planning on telling me all of this today in the between the matches. He also told me that he wanted to tell me earlier, but then I had my surgery. It turned out he slept with some girl the weekend before my emergency operation. This is also when he told me that he no longer found me surely attractive and fell out of love with me. He also made it sound like he wasn't sure why he wasn't feeling it with me and was worried something was wrong with him until he slept with this random girl. Since everything that came out of his mouth sounded like a lie, I left. A week later, I found out that he went on the island holiday with his ex-GF and not with friends. I got in touch with her and luckily she believed me and was open to talking. I was horrified to find out how he treated her during their 2 years relationship. She was 21 to 23 at the time and he was 35 to 37, and started wondering if he was a sociopath. He would yell at her, make her pay for everything, put her down, and so much more. I was horrified because it never got to this point with me, but who knows had I stayed longer. I found out that he got back in touch with her before I met him and he was hooking up with her around the 2 to 3 months point of my relationship with him. I also found out that he was sleeping around with 5 other women, so the whole P***NIS not working is it me is it you story is also BS. I hadn't spoken to him in over a month until he sent me a long email with a faux apology. He explained that he really enjoyed our time together and really thought I was a great catch but just was no longer in love with me anymore and didn't find me surely attractive, throwing salt on a wound. He also said that he should have broken up with me earlier but he was a coward to do it. He wrote other stuff too that pretty much distanced himself from taking full responsibility for his terrible behavior. So I'm not really buying all of it. My way of coping is trying to figure out people's motivations, psychology as best as I can in hopes that I can let go more and apply lessons learned for future relationships. I really don't understand why this guy wanted to keep me around if he didn't want X with me and was no longer in love with me. Why did he come back when he already had an out?